All right, guys, welcome to another market update. We have one of our new construction specialists, Eduardo Centeno. Eddie Centeno, what's going on, brother?
Good, man. Here, just ready to give a market update. Excited for this.
Yeah, man.
Market's a little wild right now.
Market is wild, and another thing is you're absolutely like killing it, helping a lot of families out. So that's why I wanted to bring you on. I know this month alone in March, you're going to help out 9 families actually get into a home. And some of these families, you help them about maybe 4 or 5, sometimes 6 months ago.
Some of these are kind of 6-8 months. They're from last year. They're going to be closing escrow. They're going to be getting keys to their home.
So now talk a little bit about that, right? We always talk about this process of buying a home, but people don't realize when you're buying a new construction home or just in the market in general, it could take a while, right?
Right, yeah.
And these people that you're helping right now, they're walking into, some of these are walking into this home with a higher appraisal on their home, right?
Oh, yeah. So I actually just had a client, right? She probably went into escrow, I would say 5 months ago. And purchase price was $555. The appraisal came in today at $640. So she saw the email and she was like, "Hey, what does this mean?" And I'm like, "You already have about $85,000 in equity on your home. You obviously don't sell right away because there's too many tax implications. But I mean, you could sell this thing, make money, and then be good. So amazing."
And I'm sure that was a time where people was like, "It's not a good time to buy."
Oh, totally.
Yeah, right?
Yeah. So she was even like, "Oh, I don't know if it's the right time. Like, I'm a little hesitant, And I always tell people, right, at the end of the day, you have to buy when you feel you can afford the payment and you feel the time is right for you.
Yeah, it's not about timing the market, guys. That's what a lot of people like to do. They like to time the market. So what we do in this market updates is we want to educate you on what's going on. What are some real life experiences? What are people going through right now? And a hot topic for these market updates was, hey, rates are going to go down, right? Yeah. Rates are going to go down, and come March, maybe May, they're going to be at a certain amount. That's what they were predicting.
Yeah.
And guess what? They haven't.
And that's the thing, right? The feds, right? Everything goes off the feds, and they were saying, oh, there's going to be 3 rate cuts, and then CPI didn't come in, or inflation report didn't come in, and now rates ain't moving. We're actually high 6s, conventionals over 7 again. I mean, it's tough out there, you know? So my biggest thing is it's simplicity. Go back to like, hey, if you can afford the payment, like don't count on everything, right? But we do know rates always kind of fluctuate. It may just be one of those things like you got to stomach that payment for 6 months to a year, But if you go in with that mindset, you'll be okay.
Yeah, man, and we see it all the time. These people who are coming in that may be waiting, right? They come in, they get a little discouraged. Maybe prices and interest rates are a little too high for them, and their payment's going to be $4,500. They really wanted to be under $4,000. But like you said, like what sacrifices can these families make to be able to purchase these homes?
And Robert, there's so many, man. Like, I talk to people, right? And like, just the expenses you guys do, like going out to dinner. And I'm guilty of it too, right? But I'm not trying to buy a home. But we go out to dinner, it's $150, $200.
Yeah.
Like, don't kid yourself. There's things you can still do to save some money and make that happen, right? It's sacrifices, guys. It's a home. It's where you're going to put your kids to sleep at night. It's not a car that you're going to buy and it's going to devalue in 3 years.
Yeah, no, 100%. And again, this is for the people who want to buy a house. There's going to be people that are out there like, why would I want to sacrifice my lifestyle just for 4 walls? And that's totally okay.
And you know what I tell those people? Cool, don't buy a house.
Yeah.
Hey, we had a 15-minute call. No big deal.
Not going to change my life.
Not going to change my life. Good luck to you.
Yeah, there's going to be people who rent forever, and again, that's okay too. But we want to educate the people who are in the market to do something. And one of the hot topics has been interest rates, and we have been, a couple weeks ago, I remember we're at a 2-month high on interest rates again.
For sure. Hey, but then they took a dip. We went into the high 5s.
Yeah.
Low 6s. Can you imagine? I have clients that locked in stuff at that point, and they're on top of the world right now.
Yeah.
And rates now that we're in the high 6s, low 7s.
Yeah.
So, but what does that tell you? Rates fluctuate. Rates fluctuate.
Can't time it.
No, and you can refinance, especially if you go FHA. They have a streamlined refinance, right? As long as you make 6 consecutive payments on time, it's basically a free refinance. They don't check income. They don't do an appraisal. No taxes. They don't check none of that. You can do it. The lender gets paid by the bank, actually.
Yeah, and that's actually, and you're not just talking about that from hearsay, right? You're not just saying it because your lender told you to say this.
Right.
You've actually experienced it yourself.
Yeah, I've done it with multiple of my properties, right? I always like to say this, right? Like, if you got to set yourself up, right? You have to put yourself in a position to take advantage of situations. So what do I mean by that? If you don't own a home and rates drop down, well, you can't refinance because you have no home, right?
Yeah.
But if you own a home and you had, let's use me for instance, I was at a 5, right? I didn't know COVID was going to come, but COVID came, and then rates dropped to 4. I refinanced, and then they dropped to 3.5. I refinanced. I went to 2.75. I refinanced. Then I went to a 2. I refinanced 4 different times in like a 2-year span. So that's what I mean by you got to put yourself in a position to take advantage of situations. So I love using that because I'm not just a realtor telling you, hey, it's always a good time to buy, or hey, you can refinance. Oh, I did it.
Yeah.
Even with one of my rental properties, I took that thing from a 30-year regular loan. I took it down to a 20-year loan, and I dropped my payment. I got a 3% interest rate.
Save
so
money.
It's doable. Yes.
Yeah. But again, like you said, you wouldn't have the opportunity if you didn't do it.
Yeah. And I bought all those homes at the wrong time. I have a video where I say, I bought in 11. You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
I bought in 14. I bought in 17, right?
That's your primary home.
That's my dream home, right?
Yeah.
I still love it. It was $555. People tell me, that's crazy. Your payment's $3,800. Oh, I mean, even for me, it was a lot, right?
Yeah.
But look now,
Yeah.
It's insane. So if you're gonna buy, if you want to buy, you're never gonna be able to time the market.
Never.
Never.
Yeah. And that's one of the reasons that I bought a home, right? I mean,
you probably bought one of the worst times.
Yeah, that's what they said. I locked in a 6.725.
That's insane. Yeah.
Yeah, or 6.75. One of those two.
I guess if you bought it at the wrong time, you bought in it.
Yeah.
But hey, that area you're in. So how's it going now?
I mean, I'm walking in with a ton of equity. I haven't refinanced or anything yet.
Yeah.
But my train of thought when buying this house was, it's maybe either now or never, right?
Yeah.
Maybe not never because our income's not a set income, right?
Right.
Like we can make more money and do all that, and that's 100%. Fine. But I started thinking like, oh shoot, like people are talking about this being the bottom. Like it actually might be the bottom because there's just so many people who need to buy still.
Yeah.
So why am I going to wait till interest rates drop and then go and compete with 100 people for the same house?
It just blows my mind. Like, it's simple economics, like that you learned in high school, right?
Yeah.
Econ 101.
Yeah.
It's supply and demand.
I didn't learn much in high school, but that was probably one thing I did.
Well, I tell you what, I wasn't good. I barely graduated in high school, but I was good at econ. Like, it was one of the classes that always caught my attention. I did very well. I got like an A in that class, right?
Yeah.
And it's that simple. It's supply and demand, guys. There's so many people that need to buy homes, that are going to buy homes, especially in Southern California, right? This is where I tell clients, you're in Southern California. It's one of the hottest markets, right? It's the weather. Everybody wants to be here. And then the markets they're hyper local, right? Like, don't talk to me about what's happening in Idaho and Texas. That has nothing to do with what's happening right here in Southern California. Even from Riverside to 10 minutes down the street to Homeland, it's completely different, right? So it's just going to keep going up out here.
Yeah, and that's how it is. And I mean, we're experiencing already people walking in with equity.
Yeah.
I bought my house with a good deal. It was a good deal, and I bought it, and I put money into it, and now I'm gonna be living there with some equity. And then when the time comes to refinance, I bought with a low 5% down. Yeah. Right, because I wanted to keep some cash and to remodel and do all of that. But I'm able, once the refinance comes, I'm gonna be able to get a lower rate when I take advantage of it. I'm gonna be able to remove PMI I'm sure.
Yeah.
Right. So,
And you won't be competing with everybody.
and I won't be competing. And
That's the big, like, it trips me out that people don't understand that. Like,
Yeah.
I'm going to wait for rates to come down. That's what everybody says. Yeah, you and everybody else. Another thing, too, is that, you know who, I tell people when we're having conversations, you're looking at interest rates to come down, right? Do you know who else is looking at interest rates to come down or what that difference makes? These builders, these
Yeah.
sellers. You gotta understand, these builders have millions of dollars, right? They have people literally just doing research and development or checking out, doing research on the market, right? They'll break it down. They'll figure out, all right, the buyers that we have in this community is about a 650 to 750 price point, right? And what they'll do is, okay, well, if rates come down 0.5% or 1%, how much more purchasing power does that person now have? And here's this thing. Let's say it's like 30 grand. Well, you'll see it. I saw it at some of these communities. They'll raise their prices 20 grand, 30 grand, 40 grand.
Yeah.
Because they did the math.
Yeah, and people are going to buy it.
And people are going to buy it, right? Because now you think you psyched yourself out. Oh, interest rates came down, but I'm going to pay more for this house. It's a wash, guys. You just, I hate to say this. My wife says, don't tell this because it discourages people, but you're not going to win out here.
Yeah.
To an extent in Southern California, right?
Yeah, it is what it is.
You have to kind of just go for it when you can.
Yeah, no, and it's a great point, man, because even when it did dip a little bit at the beginning of the year, right, we had that dip and it's like, interest rates are coming down. And then you go to one of the builders and, like, the sales rep, they're pretty honest sometimes, right?
Yeah,
And they're like, yeah, we just got an email to raise it another 10 grand.
Yeah.
Just to raise it.
They're employees, guys. At the end of the day,
Yeah.
the builder reps, they don't care. They're going to buy something regardless, or they're going to sell something regardless.
And we're sitting at the community, and it's not really a hot area that we're at, and people are just ripping through.
Well, I legit saw. I remember my client. They told them we were there like on a Tuesday, and they were like, "Hey, Friday they gave us a heads up. We're going to raise up prices $15,000." And my client was like, "BS. They ain't going to do that, you know." So we go back on Sunday, $15,000 increase.
Yeah. And just because he can.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, totally.
No, that's good, man. So kind of shifting gears a little bit. I know we talked a little bit about what's going on right now, interest rates. I mean, you're getting 6, 7s right now. That's just kind of what it is. But going into, on the other side of it, deals. What kind of deals are out right now?
So I'll still touch on interest rates. So I always like to put myself in people's shoes, right? Whether I'm on the buyer side or the seller side. So if I'm on the buyer side right now, this is what I would be doing. I would be looking out for the communities that are offering the 4.99 interest rate or like a 5.5. You have some that are even throwing in closing costs. That makes a big difference on your payment. If we're talking, we're in the 6s right now. I mean, what you know?
Yeah, you're talking about 2.5 points.
Yeah, you're $600 a month difference. I mean, maybe even up to $1,000.
Yeah,
depending with tax rate and whatnot. So me, if I was a buyer, I would definitely be looking for those communities. And they're out there. You know, that's where we say reach out to us because we know the communities that are offering that, right?
Yeah.
I would go there and lock that in.
Yeah. And you just helped the client get one of those deals, right?
4.99, man, made a big
crazy.
difference on their payment.
Yeah.
Like something that would be,
insane.
so it was almost $1,000 difference. Yeah. On what it would be.
Yeah, I kind of wanted to get an idea, right? Like I'm going to look it up right now of what it would look like. I want to know the difference. Maybe I could look up on my phone real quick. But the difference between, let's say, a 4.99 and let's call it a 7, right?
Yeah.
I mean that's pretty ideal.
Yeah.
Right. So, and then this is not including like tax rate or HOA and anything. Let's just keep it real basic, just for numbers wise. So let's say 600,000, right? And then we're talking about, let's call it 3.5 down.
Yeah.
3.5% down at a 7%. Payments about 49 to about 5,000 right now for $600,000 home with 3.5% down. Again, not quoting any rates right now. It's just we're kind of looking at the numbers, and there's a difference with new construction and regular tax rates and all that good stuff. We can explain that to you if you like. Give us a call. We'll break the whole process down: solar, tax rates, and also HOA if there's any. But let's say they bring it down. Let's call it a 5 just to make the math easy.
Yeah.
They're looking at a $41 to about $4,200 payment. So we're talking about $700-800 difference.
Yeah. See, told you. That makes a big difference on your
That's a
monthly payment.
huge difference.
Yeah, that's a car payment right there.
Yeah. Yeah, that's how much I'm going to be paying for
So-
my Grand Highlander.
So yeah, going back to if I was a buyer in this market, I would be looking for the communities that are offering a lower rate and possibly throwing in closing costs, right?
Yeah.
But even then, just if you can get a lower rate, that'll make a huge difference for you.
Yeah, and they're out there. They're
out there.
Plenty of
Yeah.
communities. So it's really about finding out where you want to be, how much you want to pay a month. Can't guarantee those rates will last forever or those deals will last forever because as homes start selling in those communities, those deals start going away.
Well, so like this community, right? They had 3 homes available with the 4.99, and then once they were done with that, they were done. Because you got to think about it too. Again, put yourself in people's shoes. What would you do if you were that builder, that business? Put yourself in the CEO mindset. If you're still selling, would you spend? Because it costs a lot to buy down that rate.
lot.
It's like anywhere from 25 to like 40,000. Not to exaggerate it, but it really is, right?
Yeah.
So I put yourself in the CEO mindset. Would you spend $40,000 to buy down an interest rate when that individual is still willing to take it on at a 6.5?
No.
Absolutely not. That's $40,000 that goes
Yeah.
towards their bonus or the bottom line in all reality, right?
Yeah, and that's how it is. I mean, even with home prices and stuff like that, like people think they can come in and like demand the deal. Like that.
Yeah.
That's some.
I tell people
some
all the
places,
time. They're like, "Hey, I want to get more incentives." It doesn't work that way. Like they don't need to. They don't want to. Especially if you have like a good lot or a nice home that's desirable. I've had them tell me, "Cool, tell your client to cancel. No biggie. We'll relist it for more, and we'll unload it. And they can switch or have them cancel completely. We're going to keep their deposit." I say the thing with these deposits with them. You guys don't understand. These are companies that are having lawyers draft these up. You ain't gonna get out of that not paying your deposit.
Yeah.
They're gonna keep it.
Yeah. Yeah, and they don't care.
No,
They're not emotional about it. It is what it is.
100% business.
And that's what it is going with us is we educate you and
Right.
And
like even then, like I want to make it very clear, we can't get you out of those situations.
Can't.
But I tell people in the very beginning, I make it very clear to you, like, I don't think you have a chance of getting your stuff out, your deposit back. Like, do this because you're ready to do this.
Yeah.
You know?
No, that's huge. Yeah, you got to be ready. So good. So besides like some of those deals, the 4.99, we got the 5.5. What's like a hot community for you right now?
I would say so. Nara Hills in Fontana was offering the 4.99. DR Horton and like out in Winchester is doing. They were doing a 4.99. I think they're up to a 5.5. Even them, they're starting to go up too. You know,
Yeah.
Harupa Valley actually, DR Horton they're doing a 5.5. All the KBs across the board are doing a 5.875, which it's all right. You know what I mean? Well, if you look at it right now, we're at 6.5. It makes a difference.
Harupa Valley. I haven't been to that community just yet. What are the price ranges there?
So low sixes, like 605. So
Okay.
really low sixes. And then they get up to, they're hitting like 7. So, but it's a nice house. It's like a 5-bedroom, 2,500 square feet. There, the lots aren't that big, but it's location, right? And those you're hitting like 668. I mean, you're getting really close to 7 with some upgrades.
Yeah, because I mean, it's not bad because even if you go down to Menifee, that's kind of some of the prices you'll see out there.
Yeah, and then hey, this is off the 15 freeway. You're 13 minutes in off of Limonite. Yeah, I mean it's nice, not crazy big lots, but for a lot of people, it's location. So if you're looking for that location to be a little bit closer to LA, that's gonna be it.
Love it. All right, man. Well, before we let him go, I know we kind of updated with what's going on right now, the state of the market, what to expect when you're searching for a home, not to get, in a sense, greedy when you're shopping around.
Yeah, you got to be careful about that. I know everybody wants a deal. If you're looking for new construct, look, if the house is nice, if you're looking for a nice home, don't expect to get deals. Someone else is willing to buy it. Mm-hmm. Don't think like you're the only person out there looking for that home, okay? If the house is rough or it's not that desirable, you might be able to work out a deal. And that's the thing, right? It's us, we have to start setting a real expectation for you guys. Like this market it's insane out here, man, at times, you know?
Yeah.
So you have to be realistic of what it's going to be like. And then the locations and where you're going to go and what type of payments you're going to have, right? I told the client, they don't want a $5,000 payment. I said, cool, no worries. You're not going to buy here. You're not going to buy in Harupa Valley. You're not going to buy in Eastville. you need to go to Beaumont. Are you open to that? No, I'm not. Okay, cool. Good luck.
Yeah.
And I know that sounds harsh, but if you're not, I mean, I can't change prices. You can't change prices. They can't change prices, right?
It is what it is.
It is what it is. Interest rates are what it is. So you have to be open to it.
Yeah, and I know that some of the expectations come. Sometimes people come in, and this is where we jump in and we help and we tell you the truth.
Yeah.
Just like Eddie said, we're gonna be nice about it, right? We're gonna let you know, and we give you like, hey, this is what it is. Like example, right? I see everywhere, like on TikTok and everything, like the car market crash of 2024, and it's just like people talking about the car crash, the car market crash.
Yeah.
Bro, I went to a Toyota the other day, and it was jam packed. Like, they don't even have cars for you to drive. Like, I'm going to buy a car that I've never even drove.
Yeah.
I haven't drove the car.
And specify, right? Like, maybe Porsche isn't selling like crazy.
Yeah.
BMW isn't selling like crazy.
But Toyota?
Yeah, like same in real estate, $1.5 million homes, they don't fly off the market.
Yeah.
But Toyotas and your construction homes that are between $500,000 to $700,000, they're going.
Yeah.
Compare those, put those two together.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
Yeah, that's what it is. I was like, I thought interest rates were high. Yeah.
And they are. They're like 8, 9, 10.
I couldn't even get anybody to help me. Like, I had to wait for a salesperson to become available. And I'm sitting there like, this is ridiculous.
Yeah.
But again, I'm not in the car market. So how am I supposed to know, right? And that's sometimes the expectation. I sat down with a car salesman. He's a car salesman, just like we're salesmen.
Yeah.
And he was like, I was like, well, can I get a better deal on that car? And he's like, he kind of like chuckled. And he's like, no,
do you want it or not?
Yeah, like, do you want it? And I'm like, can you take like $1,500 off of it? No. And there was like no negotiating. And I thought I was gonna go in there like, I'm gonna be master negotiator right now. I'm a salesperson. I went in and I was like, am I buy it or not?
Yeah.
You want to put a deposit? Like, that's what he told me. Oh yes.
Yeah. And that's how it is at these new constructions, right?
Yeah.
They're like, okay, cool. You want to do it? Yes or no?
Yeah. Okay. No. Okay.
On to the next person.
Yeah. A guy called me. He texted me. He's like, hey, I have a Grand Highlander available, and we've been looking for this car. And I didn't respond to him, and I respond to him later, and then I asked him another question. Totally ghosted me because he knows that I'm already asking too many questions.
I had a client this weekend go to an open house. I sent him on his own. He said they could barely get in, and there were so many people in there that they just decided to leave. He said it was like, Eddie, it looked like there was 50, 60 people in there.
That's disgusting.
Just walking around in their house. He's like, it was insane. It was $700,000 in Miraloma. I was like, I had already told him, I was like, that's way underpriced. Like, they're doing a little switch and bait, you know?
Yeah.
But that's to kind of give you some reference of what's happening. Open houses are getting out of control again.
Yeah, so guys, make sure you partner up with somebody that knows the market, that is experienced, and that's going to do the best thing for you. And sometimes that's just being straight up honest with you. So if you are looking to partner up with us to help you with that process, super easy. There's always going to be links in our description. You can text if you want to work with Eddie directly. You can text the number below. Just text the word, hey, Eddie, and we'll get you connected with Eddie to work with him because he is the specialist. He is our top dog here on the team. And I'm not just fluffing him up. The numbers don't lie. He's been helping a ton of families out. So if you're looking to do so, you can always click the link in our description to book a 15-minute call. And don't hesitate to reach out. Do not go to the communities without us because we want to be there to represent you. We want to look out for your best interest. Like Eddie said earlier, they're employees of the builders. They're not looking out for your best interest, and we could be that middle person for you. So with all that being said, thank you, Eddie, for your knowledge, man.
My pleasure. Absolutely.
Appreciate you, brother. I'll see you guys on the next one. SoCal Cedeño, out.